Odysseus was a legendary king of Ithaca who was known for his intelligence, wits, and ability to adapt to any situation. He was also the hero of Homer's epic poem The Odyssey. Odysseus was the son of Laertes and Anticlea, husband of Penelope, and father of Telemachus, Achilles, and Telegonus. In addition to his exploits in the Odyssey, Odysseus also played a crucial role in Homer's Iliad and other works in the epic cycle. However, his most famous accomplishment was his Nostos or homecoming, which took him 10 eventful years following the decade-long Trojan War. Odysseus encountered many obstacles during his journey, including battles with gods and monsters. However, his cunning enabled him to prevail and return home to reclaim his kingdom and reunite with his faithful wife, Penelope, and son, Telemachus. One of the most interesting details about Odysseus' journey was his encounter with the Cyclops. After getting trapped in the giant's cave with his men, Odysseus tricked the Cyclops by blinding him and escaping under the bellies of the giant's sheep. This clever ploy showed Odysseus' resourcefulness and quick thinking, making him a legendary figure in Greek mythology. Odysseus, the great hero of the Trojan War, was known for his cunning and resourcefulness. One of the many myths about him involves his attempt to avoid going to war by feigning insanity. According to legend, an oracle had prophesied that if Odysseus left for Troy, he would not return home for a long time. In an effort to avoid this fate, Odysseus pretended to be insane. However, this ruse was soon discovered. Agamemnon, the leader of the Greek forces, asked Palamedes to test whether or not Odysseus was truly mad. Palamedes did this by placing Odysseus' son Telemachus in front of his plow. If Odysseus was sane, he would steer the plow around his son. But if he was really mad, he wouldn't care and would hurt his son. Odysseus, however, steered the plow away from his son, revealing that he was not mad at all. This incident led to a deep-seated grudge between Odysseus and Palamedes. In fact, it was said that Odysseus plotted revenge against Palamedes during the Trojan War, ultimately leading to Palamedes' death. In another story about Odysseus, he and some envoys of Agamemnon traveled to Scyros to recruit Achilles for the Trojan War. There, Achilles had been hidden by his mother, Thetis, who had disguised him as a woman to prevent him from being discovered. An oracle had prophesied that Achilles would die young or live a long, uneventful life, and Thetis wanted to keep him safe. But Odysseus, who was known for his cleverness, was not fooled. He presented a range of gifts to the women present and discovered who among them was interested in the weapons hidden among them. He then arranged a sounding of a battle horn, and when Achilles was the only one to grab a weapon and show his trained disposition, he was unmasked and joined the call to arms. These stories demonstrate Odysseus' wit and cunning, which proved to be critical in his victory over the Trojans. Odysseus, known for his cleverness and sound judgment, was one of the legendary Greek champions during the Trojan War. He was often contrasted with Achilles, whose self-destructive anger was a stark contrast to Odysseus' wisdom and ability to strategize. Despite his numerous achievements, including aiding Diomedes in killing Rhesus and competing with Telamonian Ajax in both wrestling and racing, Odysseus was viewed as a deceitful and cruel individual in the Roman tradition. Odysseus' most famous achievement was the invention of the Trojan horse strategy, which allowed the Greek warriors to enter Troy under the cover of darkness. However, this was not the only time he used deceit. In one instance, he tricked Clytemnestra into sacrificing her daughter Iphigenia, further fueling the Romans' perception of him as a villain. Despite this negative perception, Odysseus remained a respected member of the Greek camp. He earned Achilles' respect as a wise counselor and later schemed with Diomedes to retrieve Heracles' poisonous arrows from Philoctetes. Though reluctantly chosen to fight Hector, he proved himself to be a worthy adversary, using his intelligence and cunning to outsmart and defeat the Trojan prince. Despite his sometimes controversial actions, Odysseus is remembered as one of the greatest heroes of Greek mythology. He embodies the conflict between wit and honor, demonstrating that sometimes the ends justify the means. Odysseus, the legendary hero of Greek mythology, had been away from home for 10 long years due to the Trojan War. He had faced numerous challenges on his journey home, but the most daunting one was the kidnapping by Cyclops Polyphemus. Odysseus and his crew were trapped in Polyphemus' cave, and the curious Cyclops asked them about their identity. Odysseus told him his name was Odysseus to conceal his true identity. But Polyphemus' hunger got the best of him, and he ate some of Odysseus' men. In retaliation, Odysseus blinded the Cyclops and devised an ingenious plan to escape. Odysseus and his men had encountered numerous challenges on their journey, including a group of cannibalistic creatures and the witch goddess Circe, who had turned his men into pigs. They also had a face-off with the six-headed monster Scylla and the thunderstorm caused by Zeus, but they managed to survive. Upon his return to Ithaca, Odysseus disguised himself as a beggar to find out how things stood in his household. To win back his wife, Penelope, who was being courted by many suitors, he won the contest of stringing his own bow and shooting an arrow through 12 axe shafts. Then, with the help of his son, Telemachus, and 2 servants, he killed the suitors and finally revealed his true identity. But Penelope also had her final test for Odysseus, to move their bed. Odysseus passed the test by reminding her that the bed's leg was a living olive tree. With Penelope convinced of his identity, they embraced each other and reunited after a long gap. However, the people of Ithaca were not happy about the deaths of the suitors and sought revenge. Athena and Zeus intervened, hoping to end the cycle of violence and instill peace in their lives. Thus, Odysseus' journey home was filled with brave feats and challenges, but ultimately, he proved himself to be a true hero who always found a way to overcome difficult obstacles.